thought-provoking podcast that sheds light on the challenges faced by young people living in urban areas. We highlight the resilience and creativity of young leaders who are finding innovative ways to overcome the challenges our young people are facing, inspiring listeners to take action to support them. This is A Different Cloth.
Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to A Different Cloth podcast. We got a whole new switch up today that I'm super excited about. Typically, it's me and Angel, and we're just talking about the work we do and our stories personally. And this time, we have invited some dope guests here to come and hang. And so here with me, I have Zipporah and I have Piper right here. Both are a part of our summer internship program. And I just thought this would be a great opportunity for us to learn from students really what it is they need from adults to be able to reach them more effectively. And so, ladies, welcome. Thank y'all for being here. How y'all feeling today? Good?
I'm feeling good.
Okay. All right. Good. Well, let's start a little bit. Piper, tell us just a little bit about yourself, some of your background, what school you go to, things like that.
Well, my name's Piper. I'm a senior at Cajon High School. I was born in Vegas, but I grew up out here in San Bernardino. I'm an open book, so ask me anything.
I got you.
Ask me anything.
We will definitely do that. I got you on that part. That's great. Zipporah, what about you?
My name is Zipporah. Some people call me Jupiter or Jay. And I went to two different schools. So I went to San Bernardino High School. I left that school because I wanted to take my career seriously. So I went to an innovation school, which is all year round. And I became the class of 2024 instead of 2025.
Okay.
Which makes me graduate at 17.
So you're graduating a little early.
Yes.
And when you said you want to take your career more serious, what career?
I wanted to join and challenge to become a doctor or a registered nurse. It doesn't really matter, but I did start taking kinesiology classes this year.
Already?
Yeah.
Oh, that's crazy. I can't even spell kinesiology or say it. So that's really dope. Congrats to you. That's
Thank
incredible.
you.
And you got to move that graduation date up. So that's also pretty dope. So I'm super excited because a lot of the times this is me and Angel talking from only our perspective, right? And the life that we've lived on really how we've been able to reach so many students. Even today, you got a chance to hear about the numbers about how many students we've reached, things like that. None of that compares to having a personal conversation with two incredible individuals that I think will bring a lot of insight, not just to me, but to all of those that do listen to our podcast. And so I first want to ask this question. What do you feel like adults get wrong about you? And when I say you, I do mean you personally, so you can take that very personal, or you as in students and in general. What are adults missing about this generation?
The understanding of our motivation to just be in school. I feel like they don't understand that, at all. They call us lazy and they tell us that we just slack, but they don't really understand that school is really a mental health thing.
Okay, all right, let's pause there because I want to dig into that a little bit. The understanding of our motivation to be in school and that school is a mental health thing. When you say school is a mental health thing, unpack that a little. What does that mean, really? Why do you equate school and mental health?
Because it takes a lot of strength to just be there. Just like when it takes an adult to just be at work. We have our good and bad days. Things happen and we don't want to be there. And, when we aren't in school, we expect our parents to, emotionally support us, and sometimes they don't. They just say that's an excuse. They always call our mental health an excuse. They throw words around without no meaning behind it.
Okay, this is off to a great start because I'm guilty of sometimes calling mental health an excuse up until I saw my wife have panic attacks last year, and it changed my whole perspective, right? I was like, whoa, that's real, and we were at the hospital quite a bit. From your perspective, okay, and either one of y'all can answer. We're talking because you answered it, but either one of y'all can answer. From your perspective, why do you think mental health is such a big deal now? And here's why I asked that. When I was coming up, it wasn't as big of a deal as it is now, right? Probably to your parents too, when we came up, it was kind of like, yo, you suck it up and keep pushing, right? It's not the same anymore. Mental health is a very big deal. Why do you think it's such a big deal now as opposed to several years ago when I was coming up?
I feel like a lot of kids suffer from it, and it can take a toll on you physically and mentally.
Okay.
Like, I feel like mental health is super important because that's an individual right there. You know, like that's everything they got going for themselves. So I feel like if your mental's not in the right state, nothing's going to be. You have to have your head on your shoulders.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You got to have a clear conscience. You got to be thinking right. You got to be feeling right.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I definitely think that does have an impact. So when it comes to school and like my mental's not right, I'm not doing good in school.
Yeah, agreed.
So it's got an effect on my everyday life if
Every day.
I'm not feeling right. You know what I mean?
I love that. That's and I fully understand it. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, I agree 100%.
Yeah. So here's my challenge with that, okay? And this is the other perspective I want to give, right? We have an organization, which means people work here, which means if one of our team members, now we're probably a little bit of an exception because we genuinely care for people. And so if their mental is not right, I want to know, I want to have a conversation. If that means like, hey, let's give you the day off, I'm actually good with that on this end. But let's say I wasn't me and we have an organization, a job, right, that people have to work at. How do we not let that from school translate to that at work? And here's why I ask that. Or maybe it does. Maybe it does translate. But here's why I ask. From a job perspective, we make money based on people working.
Right.
No matter what that looks like, right? And if 10 of our staff members came and was like, yo, my mental is not right. I'm having some anxiety, because I'm assuming that some of that's anxiety, some depression. We talk mental health, right? I'm having some anxiety. Well, that's 10 people that now we're losing really, I mean, you're talking thousands of dollars on, right? How do we justify that? I get it from a school perspective because, some of that you're still growing, you're learning, you got friends there and stuff. But if I wanted to hire you, right? How do I not let that stop me or stop you even from being able to still fulfill what it is you should be fulfilling, whether it be in school or in a job?
I would say if it was an employee or all those 10 employees like you mentioned, I would say give them a time frame. Not a time frame to like stress them out, but at least they give you a heads up. It's not like they just didn't come to work and was just like, hey, I'm not feeling like this. They came to you and was just like, I need to fix myself for a moment, because mental health can take a long time to just need and just fix up. Some people can grieve for 10 years. Some people can grieve one day and be fine the next day, So for them, maybe giving that person maybe 2-3 days, maybe having some other of the employees call and check up on them, because all it takes is an "Are you okay?" from somebody, because nobody gets that every day. When you're sad and you tell somebody, not everybody is like, "Are you okay? Do you need anything from me? If there's anything you need, I'm right here." That's all it takes is some motivation, telling them that there's somebody still there. You're not leaving empty-handed.
I love that, because what I hear you say is, number one, they need time to process their mental health, and I would fully agree with that, right? But the other thing I hear you say is that they need people to check on them, because if it sounds like mental health gets lonely, right? When you're going through anxiety or depression, and it feels like you're completely by yourself. So I want to flip the script, right? As a company, all right, cool. Let's say somebody has a mental health day or 2 days, and I say, by all means, please take 2 days, gather yourself, and somebody checks on them. Let's flip this to school for you, okay? Based on what you just now said, let's say you were having a bad mental health day. Does somebody checking on you, is that enough to push you to still go to school? Or do you need more than just somebody checking on you?
Personally, yeah, that's all it takes. Because I come from the statistic of not all foster kids graduate. So all it took was somebody to just be like, you can do it. So that's why I got up and was like, yeah, okay, I got this. Because I wasn't going to school. My whole middle school and freshman year, I could have just been a dropout. But all it took was for some random lady, my random tutor was like, hey, you're smart, you can do it, you got this. She didn't tell me to suck it up, but she did help me knead through.
Yeah.
She helped me process and all these emotions I was going through, because what she understood was nobody was listening to me. So she sat down and she listened. So because somebody listened, she didn't talk or even interrupt me. She let me talk and she helped me get through it.
Well, kudos to her, right? Because it's one of the things we talk about a lot here is, the importance of listening to students even more than what we tell you to do, right? Or what we, instruct you on. I want to translate that to school. Can we do that for a second? If students need a listening ear, which is what it sounds like. Well, first of all, let me ask this. Do you agree with what she said?
Yeah.
If somebody was to just check on you if you had a bad mental health day?
I feel like a lot of people are different, though. I feel like
Okay.
some people, they get that daily checkup on, but I feel like with help being provided, like, say, like working, for instance, you got one of your staff members that they're not doing too good mentally, you know what I mean? Like, maybe reach out to them, ask them questions, like, so why are you acting as such, or why you speak as such, you know what I mean? Like, or even give them, like, refer them to somebody, something like, here, look, I go here for help.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I can help provide you, like, with this help.
Wow.
So I think just a little bit more than just asking somebody, well, are you okay?
Okay.
Can help
Support
a little
them,
bit more.
though.
Yeah,
Like,
support
really,
them.
like
they work for you. You know what I mean? So, like, returning the favor almost.
That's fire. I love it, right? Great answers. Going back to the listening thing, right? Because even in the supporting thing, that's a part of that, right? You can, if Piper was to tell me, yeah, I'm having a bad mental day, and I'm like, all right, cool, and then we just keep moving, right? I'm not really listening to you, right? It's like, no, I really had one agenda, and it's for my own agenda. So let's talk teachers for a second, can we? Can we be honest? Y'all cool with being honest? Yeah. Honest? All right. Have you had good relationships with teachers and bad relationships with teachers?
Absolutely.
100%.
Okay, let's talk about bad teachers or bad relationships with teachers, because,
Sure.
yeah. So, all right. If you was to, what made or what contributed to having a bad relationship with a teacher?
I feel like the individual themselves. So, not only do, like, the students need checking up on, but I also feel like the teachers do too. They're human as well. You know what I mean? I ain't got none wrong with it.
Yeah.
So I do feel like, on top of that, like, if you're not enjoying your profession, like, you're not enjoying your job, you're not really gonna enjoy working with the kids. You know what I mean? So I feel like, yes, teachers, they're gonna need to get the help that they need too, so that way they're able to work properly with the kids that they work with. You know what I mean? Because then that does take an effect on the students, because from experience, like, I've had teachers where they weren't having the best of day, and then, like, they ruined mine from doing it.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
So let's go that route. Let's go a little more personal. Okay, let's think about a teacher you've had a bad relationship with, like, particularly, like I want you to get them in your mind. You both got somebody? Let's talk about that teacher. Okay, don't mention no name, but let's talk about that teacher. All right. So, with that teacher, I'm curious, what caused the bad relationship? What made that teacher for you?
Me personally, I try not to let other people's decisions affect mine or my mood or any etc. such. But I feel like he needed some help. He needed to talk to somebody. He needed to figure something out.
Okay.
And without him doing that, he was causing that bad relationship. So when it came to, like, oh, I needed to ask a question or something, he wasn't always, like, he just threw the criteria out there and, like, figure it out. You know what I mean? Because he was dealing with his personal life with his professional life. Okay.
So what I hear you saying is he was very like, here, figure this out, do this, and wasn't supporting.
Because I'm dealing with my own.
Because I'm dealing with my own stuff. Good answer. Thank you for that. What caused the relationship to go that route?
Okay, so we're gonna call him Teacher A.
Teacher A, let's do that.
And Teacher A, when I first started, I had actually, like, graduated from, like, an IHP class, like a one of those classes for kids on the spectrum.
Yeah.
And I was doing really good on my work. You know, I was always like turning in papers really fast. It came to this point to where he like, I don't know, one day he just got mad at me for, I guess, not showing my work. Now my mom, she was like, don't be upset, honey, you know, they just want to see if you're learning. And I was like, okay. So I started showing my work, but I started showing the short process of what made it easier for me. And he got this like, I don't know, this like angry energy when I sent the paperwork back in. He was like, no, you need to do it like this. You need to do it like that. So, you know, I was trying to explain to him, but he was constantly like, anytime I tried to like, I guess what he called excuses, every time I tried to explain to him that I was learning differently, he would just be like, no this, no that, or he would tell me to go back to the classes I came from. So
wow.
he was really mean.
That's rude.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. I was really sorry that you experienced that with him. Couple of things stand out. I mean, in both of these, right? And to me, the biggest thing is how they responded to you, right? Like that's like even in your situation, being very like, here, you go figure it out because I'm dealing with my own stuff, right? That's not very caring. It's not very like, hey, I'm here to help you, right? Like things like that. And in Teacher A's case, it was very much the same thing. It's like you got to do it the way I said to do it, or else, right? But it sounds like you were coming up with the right answers.
Yeah.
Just wasn't the way that he wanted.
It wasn't the way, which was the long way, which he constantly did, and some students weren't learning that way. So he would get angry that they weren't learning that way.
So one of the things that is really fascinating to me is how cognizant you are of how you learn differently than even other students, because every student learns differently. I think that's incredible. But I think what I'm thinking about is I'm gonna flip the question on you. What could you have done in both of those situations to better that relationship?
I feel like me being who I am, I'm loving, I'm caring. So I would have been the type to be like, well, okay, I understand, you know, but this is your job and this is school and I have a part that I need to play as well, you know what I mean? So even if it's unprofessional, like, what's going on? Okay. You know what I mean? Like, let's sit here and talk about it. You know what I mean? Like, tell me what you got on your mind. You know what I mean? And if you're not getting the help that you're supposed to begin talking to somebody, okay, chat it up with me. You know what I mean? Talk to me, and then we can get to what I need. Okay. You know what I mean?
I'm curious to know, even with you, Piper, how did that bad relationship affect your grade?
It affected it because I wasn't understanding the criteria, because he wasn't offering or wanting to help due to what he was dealing with on his end. So it had a negative effect on my grade. Okay.
So the interesting thing as I'm listening to you is I hear you talk about how disconnected he was from the work, right? And because he had his own stuff, it's very like personal to him and what he had going on, which is very real, right? What about the doing the work on your part, right? What about the because I don't know if you know this, but the way our brains are wired, they're natural problem solvers. Okay, so most people don't think about that. Literally, if we were to lock you in a room, this is like literally like a fact, right? And put the hardest math equation on the wall, like all the way around all the walls, and we told you you're locked in and you can't get out until you figure it out. There's two things that'll happen: fight or flight, right? Have you ever heard the statement? Like, some people are gonna just shy away and like, I don't want to do it ever again. Like, no, forget this, right? Other people are gonna fight through it, and they're gonna try to figure it out, right? Well, the way your brain is wired, if you're in that situation, your brain naturally starts to try to figure it out. It's the way everybody's brain works, right? In your situation, I hear the personal component of this. But what about the work component? Because there is an aspect of this that, let's say you did figure it out and you did turn in the work. Whether he had personal stuff going on or not, your grade may not have been as affected by it. What could you have done to at least separate the personal from the I still got to get a grade? Right. What could you have done there?
Could I ask my peoples for help? Could have went home like, Mom, look, I need help on this. You know what I mean? Ask my older sister, which a lot of the times I did do, but a lot of the times I did get it wrong.
Okay, let me ask this. Why did you, for a lot of times that you did get it wrong, which means, I'm assuming means you didn't do that. Is that what I'm hearing correctly?
No, I had got like the criteria wrong.
Oh, you got the answers wrong.
Yeah, I didn't understand it. So bro would be like quick to put in the wrong grade, but when I would come to him with work that was done, he would like lack a little bit. Like you would have to stand by him for him to put your grade in.
Oh, dang.
You know?
Dang.
So that had even more of a toll on my grade.
Yeah.
Because of the fact that even if I did come up with the work, he was still struggling to put it in. So
This is very helpful for multiple reasons. On both sides of the spectrum, students tend to look at teachers as they're the problem.
right.
Teachers tend to look at students as you're the problem, right?
I try not to look at it like
no,
that.
I know
Yeah.
you don't. I'm just saying
No,
in
no, I feel
general.
you.
And so what happens is nobody's looking at the solution. Nobody's looking at, yeah, but I still got to get a grade, right? I still got to what do I need to do on my own to still make that happen? And so as I'm listening to you, could you have done something differently for a different outcome in that class?
Yeah, I feel like I could have went to tutoring. I feel like I could have pushed harder, a lot harder.
What made you not push harder?
The energy I was given, he was giving me like this. Like now, I look at it as in like this is on me. I need to pass the class. This ain't got nothing to do with the teacher.
Yep.
But then back then, I was like, oh well, you want to act this way, so I'm gonna give you the same energy. In return, I'm not doing your work.
Okay, I want to ask this question to you. How often in life do you have that mindset? Think about all areas of life, family, friends. How often do you carry that? Oh, you want to give this energy?
I definitely worked on it a lot more getting older.
Yeah.
I do struggle a little bit when it comes to like family
Yeah.
because I feel like you should know better. But I definitely struggled with it in all areas.
Well, the know better part is interesting because I would assume that the teacher should know better too. Would you agree with that? So do you feel like you have that attitude when people should know better?
Not necessarily. Now I'm kind of like, what was going on?
Okay, so more like empathetic,
Yeah,
more
more
like I want to
understanding.
learn and understand. Okay.
But before I was very closed-minded. I was dealing with what I had going
Yeah.
on. You know, so
Yeah.
I've kind of learned how to manage both lives.
Incredible. And it's such an area of growth for you that you get a chance to like become a better
Definitely
person now.
humbled me. Yeah.
Good job for you. That's really powerful. I'm really glad. Want to go to you. How did that relationship affect your grade?
It took a toll for like a moment.
Okay.
It took a toll on my grade for a moment because it was just a plain F because I was very scared of the teacher.
Okay.
So I was very scared that I would rather just get wrong answers instead of get the right ones. So I would second guess myself because now I was thinking like maybe I am doing it wrong.
Okay.
You know, so after this came from me. I was probably like in the 6th grade.
Sure.
And as a kid, you know, of course I'm going to be scared. You know, this man is yelling at me.
Yeah.
So I'm just like, I got to fix this. You know, I can't just keep getting the wrong answers. This looks bad on me. You know, I was doing really well. So it took a little motivation from my friends, actually. They were like, you're the smartest kid in our class. We need you. You cannot fail right now. You know, we're kids. You know, they were like, we need you to pass this test.
Yeah.
So, you know, I was like, okay, I'm going to communicate. And I did my best. The first thing I did actually was write a sticky note. I wrote a sticky note because I couldn't really talk to people. I was very scared.
Okay.
So I wrote a sticky note and told him, like, hey, can we talk, please? And I forgot to put my name, so he asked who the note was from. So I said, oh, it's me. And he was like, I'll see you at lunch. So we talked. And I even asked him, I said, sir, why are you upset that I'm doing it my way? And for some reason, he didn't have an answer. And it took me a while. And he just kept mumbling and rambling about like how it's just better for us to do it that way. But then I asked him again, I said, sir, why are you upset that I'm not doing it your way?
Yeah.
And he finally just told me, he's like, I just have this control thing. I like to be in control. He says he feels that his job title is just to be in control.
Dang.
And I'm like, and you know, me, and I'm like, you don't have to be in control. You get paid for teaching, not controlling. So, you know,
Bar.
yeah, so I was like, you get paid for teaching, not controlling. you get paid for how much information your students consume. And right now, your students are scared of you.
Wow.
I expressed to him that I was scared, that if I kept getting the right answers, that you were going to fail me and I was going to have to repeat, this entire like math thing you had going on.
Wow.
I was afraid of summer school. I didn't want to go through that because I was doing really good. All my grades except for math were good. So when I explained that to him, maybe after our like spring break,
Okay.
he changed the entire way he was teaching.
Wow.
He changed, like, he even changed the color patterns in his room.
Wow.
Which were more colorful and more like bright. And he was really nice with the students who didn't understand too. I watched him and he actually sat down with the students and explained it. So I think what it was maybe stress from his job. He felt that he had this title that he needed to keep. When in reality, these are students you're affecting. These are students that you're going to help reach into the future that they want. These are students that are going to be emotionally connected with you because they don't understand.
Yeah.
And that's another thing that I just really wish I could have like did before, so that way we didn't like have that slip up.
You had that conversation earlier. There could have been a lot more progress early on.
Yeah.
Good for you for having the conversation.
Yeah.
I'm stuck on that. You get paid to teach, not to control, because I'm thinking of all the youth pastors that listen to this, and all the youth workers, and all the mentors, and all the teachers, and I'm like, man, like your job is not to control, right? As a RAG coach, as Rescue Generation coach, my job is not to get into the classroom and control. My job is to lead, to coach, right? That's my job. And if I do my job well, then it sounds like, at least from your perspective, that if I'm doing my job well, then people will follow as I do my job well. Where it doesn't work out is when I try to do something different than my job, which is to control, right? Mm-hmm. And that's where there's just usually this friction within relationships. I want to talk real quick because one of the things that we deal with a lot, maybe this is you, maybe this is not, okay? We deal with students that come from broken homes, and because of their trauma and pain from broken homes, there's a level of anger and like rebelling, like it's like I don't want to do none of this, like it's kind of like a F all y'all type, like, and we get that sometimes, right? I don't fully understand it, and from your perspective, right? Well, number one, let me ask: have you ever been that type? Have you ever been that type of person?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Okay. So let's say I'm coming into a classroom with you as you're that type of a person. Because I think one of the things that I want people to understand, particularly teachers and youth workers, is when we come in contact with students that have that like forget you mentality, right? It doesn't mean that you don't want to be reached or helped or supported. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, I agree.
That attitude doesn't mean like, I don't want you to be here, right? Mm-hmm. It just means like, number one, I've probably been hurt by somebody, so I'm not interested in your lives or your games or whatever, right? So I want to know this from your perspective. If we was to come into a classroom together and you had that, what would you need from me? Think about that. Like if you had that attitude when you came into a class and I was the teacher and you were like, man, F this, I don't want to do none of this, I'm not doing nothing. What would you need from me in order to see you succeed and for the classroom to go well? Because sometimes those students can control the whole class in all the wrong ways. So then, to me, when you talked about a teacher not getting paid to control, I often would think, well, I know why they may feel like they need to control, because if I don't control, then the student controls, and if a student controls, then it can be chaos. Does that make sense?
Right.
What would you need from me if you had that attitude today and we were brand new, you never met me, and we were to come into a classroom?
I feel like patience and understanding.
Okay.
Because if an individual is willingly, like, wanting to work on themselves, yes, it's going to take a minute. And it's going to take some understanding because you're going to hit different phases such as anger or I'm not wanting to do this or things like that. So I definitely feel like patience is key. Understanding and support is key.
Great answers. I'm curious to know how patient is too patient? Okay, and I'm asking that because at what point am I able to hold you to a different standard, or am I?
Yeah, as long as, because a person's only gonna change if they want to.
Okay.
Um, if you see that individual, it's the same behavior over and over again, maybe get to the point where it's like, okay, so why? Why are you being so stubborn? Why are you not wanting to change? But a lot of the times, change is very uncomfortable.
Oh, yeah, it's good.
Breaking a habit is uncomfortable. Different is uncomfortable.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So a lot of students might have a fear as such. You know, like they're like, I've lived this life for so long. What's the point? Why do I gotta change now? So I feel like that is what makes a person a person.
Wow.
You know what I mean? So being able to break through that door, that battle, that's what makes your individual them.
Patience and understanding. What else would you say it takes to break through that wall initially? Because, like, so for instance, if I'm at the front of the class and I could be patient with you all day, understanding is going to take me actually like getting to know you and listening to you. Is there anything else, any other factors that you feel like would help break that wall down faster?
Motivating them to
Okay.
keep fighting, because there is something behind that door. There is, no matter how ugly you came from, no matter how dark your picture is, there's warmth in this world. There's love in this world. You gotta fight. You gotta find it.
Wow.
You know what I mean? So motivate that student, that person to keep going, because you're not gonna regret it.
Yeah. Wow. I love that. Do you have any thoughts on that different?
No, I don't. I completely agree with what you're saying because I would probably need that motivation, because when I was in that situation, none of my teachers were like, do you need help? They were just like, here, be that way. They didn't care.
Wow.
They took their job too seriously. And that's when you said their job is like, teaching. And when I said that, sometimes they forget that they need to be emotionally supportive too. You're with a class for maybe 7-8 hours a day, and you're expecting these students to just be high top and ready and full of energy.
Wow.
Yeah,
Nobody is happy and ready at 7 in the morning, coming to learn about math, coming to do PE. Motivate them. Encourage them. Not, oh, you're going to need this in your future. If you don't, you're going to get poor. Don't scare them into success.
Yeah.
Tell them outlets. Tell them how they could support themselves. Tell them what this could do for them.
It's good.
And nobody really talks about that in schools anymore. It's just here, take this. If you don't get it, oh well.
I feel like it's just being more human, being more sympathetic. You know what I
Okay.
mean? Be a human,
Yeah,
like not
yeah,
a bot.
right.
You know what I mean?
Not
Like
a robot.
you're
Yeah,
sitting
yeah.
here like, okay, well I gave you an assignment, do it. You see that they're struggling with it, but you don't care on asking why. You know what I mean?
Okay.
So
Yeah, we're
Okay.
not worker
be a
bees.
human. Be a human.
All right. I want to flip this one more time. Okay. We have a few minutes left. All right. Let's take it from the teachers to the parents.
Okay.
Okay. I feel like it's going to get real deep real quick. Okay. But, like, what would you tell your parent for a moment that you were like that? Because there are parents that don't know how to deal with that either. Would you agree with that?
Yeah.
Okay. What would you tell a parent? What would you, like literally, if you had to look your parent in the eye, say mom or dad or whoever it is, right? What would you tell them?
Well, from experience, my mom was living life the only way she knew how to.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So I feel like in order to help somebody else, you gotta be somewhat all there. You know what I mean? You gotta be present for one. You have to be able to understand. You gotta be able to process, like, okay, she's feeling this way. Now let me figure out how to take it up for such, or et cetera, et cetera. Maybe explaining how. Maybe like, look, mom, I feel this way, or can you help me? Can you, like, we can help each other figure it out. Communication is key.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, for me, experience, it'd be a little hard with my mom.
Yeah.
But I definitely felt like if I was to work on it with her, then we could have had something way different.
Okay. Well, I'm glad you said that part, right? Because I understand, like, not every parent does have the tools, right, necessary to be able to be present, to be able to show up, right? And like you said, they got to kind of have some things together.
Yeah.
They could be the parent, right? And so if you wanted your mom to do just one thing different, what would it be?
Get her life together. Understand that she had kids. You know what I mean? To just understand.
Yeah.
Understand. That was it. Yeah.
That's your word. I got it.
Yeah.
I love it. What about you?
One thing I can tell my mom. There's a lot of things I wish I could tell her. But if there's one thing that she needs to understand, she needs to stop making excuses. She needs to believe in herself and stop making excuses. She knows that we're in a bad situation, we're in a tough situation. It was a moment where she didn't have me. I'm here. Stop making excuses.
Wow.
Don't know would've, should've, and could've. I'm here. And I understand that emotionally and mentally you're not well. I'm here.
Yeah.
I keep telling her, I'm here. It's, oh, you're a kid, but Mom, I've lived.
Wow.
I've seen. The 16 years I've been on this earth, I've lived, I've seen, I've heard.
Yeah.
And for her to bring, the Bible into my life, it's like she's completely disconnected. So I have to bring back, God to her.
Wow.
And what's not, for us, what's not, I guess, understanding for the both of us, we don't understand each other's pain. She won't, I guess, talk to me, and I won't talk to her. And I've expressed this. I said, we need to talk more. I haven't been in your life for 5-6 years. We need to talk more.
Wow.
Our family is separated. Nobody talks to each other. We don't do family dinners. We need to talk more.
Hold on. You would want that?
Yeah.
If you had a situation with a family, would you want that too? Like family dinners?
Yeah.
Really? I'm not gonna lie. I know a lot of adults that would be like, Cap, there's no way y'all want that, because what we see is y'all on your phone all the time, disengaged, right? But I trust that you're saying the truth, right? But you genuinely want somebody to look past that and to invite to like a family dinner, family discussion, family time. Yeah?
I feel like it's a habit. Like the whole phone thing, that's for a reason. I'm on my phone because I ain't never experienced no family dinner. You know what I mean? But I feel like if you took the time out your day to make it happen, I'd be there.
Wow. That's really dope. I feel like there's so much I want to talk about, and we're just going to have to run this back because this was fire. Y'all are incredible.
Thank you.
And if I can just say this as an adult to you, I'm very thankful for your maturity and growth and how you even got to where you are. There are a lot of students that I've seen with my own eyes that come from very similar stories and situations that choose to go the opposite way and not the way that you're going now. And so we at Rescue a Generation are proud of you. We want to cheer you on and champion you, and we're going to create that family dinner because we're going to run that. Okay. So we're going to set the table so that we can literally help you and support you to become exactly who God wants you to become. But I can't wait to see where this conversation continues to go. I genuinely feel like we need to run this back again and talk a little deeper in some of this because there's so much clarity. And it's funny, when I wrote my book, y'all are reading through the book right now, right?
Yeah.
You're on chapter 2? 3? I don't know what chapter.
4?
4? Oh, shoot. Oh, my bad. All right.
6 next Wednesday.
Okay, all right. So thinking about the book, right? I wrote the book thinking about what students needed because I've worked with students for a really long time, and I'm listening to your answers, and I'm literally in my mind, I'm like, well, that's that chapter, that's that chapter, that's that chapter, because it literally speaks to all of what you're saying.
Yeah, you cover a lot.
Understanding and being present and showing up, right? Because that really matters. And so it just makes me so proud of y'all and so happy that that we get to create that space for adults to be better at working with students. And so, thank y'all for tuning in to the Rescue a Generation, a Different Cloth podcast. We will be back next time. I can't wait, and I'll holler at y'all soon.
Deuces.